Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Starseeds and Soul Fractals. What I wanted to discuss today is the sort of mechanics of the ascension from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. And the reason why I'm talking about from the third to fifth is because that is what we tend to be the most familiar with, and I do believe that there are a lot more dimensions accessible to us. So if this is kind of basic to you, if this is something that you might already be kind of done with and you're already tapping into higher dimensions, maybe take this just as a reminder of what a big portion of this planet is going through. Since this is about the entire planet, we are talking about how that sort of old third dimensional energy is going away and how these higher dimensions are anchoring their energies in. It does have to do with that, okay? So, on a personal level, many of us will start to feel more of these higher vibrational states, and more of us will be starting to feel and experience our older experiences sort of going away, if that makes sense. Because I've been observing, of course, reality from many perspectives. I've been observing many different realities actually. The thing about reality is that it's very subjective. I had this download just this morning about how I often feel as if the world is not finished. It's like it's still in the progress of being built into something. It's like there's constantly some kind of building happening, which is interesting because I live in an area that is like that. Like there's constantly this building going on. But even when I think about just what's going on abroad and what's happening in different places in the world, like yeah, of course there's those areas where there's a lot of that old energy. There's a lot of that chaotic and destructive energy that is on its way out. It's sort of almost like it's going out by, slamming the doors. And I want to remind us that a lot of these things are also happening within us. There are ways, like for example, within myself that I noticed, okay, there is this part of me that wants to leave with by slamming the doors. So there are certain parts, for example, of the spiritual community where I see a lot of this resistance to actually true unconditional love, ironically. It's like some of the people in the Ascension community are trying to create another religion, which do not support, okay? I'm just gonna say it right here. I don't support that bullshit. Anyway, and how that again plays into the world, how that plays into the true Ascension. I don't even know if I can use the words natural and organic, because now those have been tainted and made into what they are not. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, to be honest. There's a lot of things that are very much unfinished. It's kind of like the unfinished business that the Syrians were dealing with. So it's like there's so many of these things that are still in the progress, in the process of being to be brought into their fulfillment. And it also shows up in a way where there's like a lot to be done, actually. There's like a lot to be done in some areas of our societies at large. While on the other hand, the process to get there, it is that process of again eliminating those old energetic templates and old grids, false light grids, as we like to speak. Of course, repairing the light grids that can be repaired, that are of the pure light, that are divine in nature, as well as bringing in some new fresh light, okay? That's a big part of it. We're bringing in new energies, and those are not just only supporting that which can be supported, but they also bring in these entirely new codes of light that help us again reach higher vibrational states, and that help us anchor in sort of the new parts of who we are. And that's kind of how I would say the ascension process on some kind of a level works. And what I've also heard some people say, which I can sort of incorporate into this, is that the new light is kind of overriding the old. And in a way it is, but not all of the old is going, because not all of the old is harmful, negative, or bad. Okay, so I want people to understand that it's not like this black and white situation where all is XYZ or all is not XYZ, right? It's not about that at all. And I have never really believed in such a polarized reality existence anyway. As an Andromedan that I am, you'll know what I mean. But the thing about understanding that there are certain things that, yes, the new light will and has and does override and overwrite, and it does sort of take its place, if that makes sense. Because it's like those are the polar opposites, almost. And because the old, sometimes, not always, but sometimes it's a bit stagnant and it's a bit stale. And because it's sort of outdated in that way, and because it simply does not, it has not grown, it has not evolved, and it has not adapted, it has not, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a word I'm looking for. It has not sort of conserved itself. It has not aged well. It would at least need a good layer of polish and a good repairing, fixing in order to stay, but in some cases that's just not going to be enough, right? In some cases it's just too old to remain. Even remaining the rust from it is not going to make it, because the software that we're using does not fit that computer, so it's almost like you're trying to put like a Windows 10 installment into Windows Vista or something. It's almost like you're trying to like fit this new programming into a very old computer that doesn't even know how to read it, doesn't even know how to display it on the screen. So that's kind of what we have to keep in mind of, and we have to really remember that when some things are going, they are going, and when some things are actually good for us, that are coming to take the place of some of these outdated creations, we're gonna have to let them come. And this new light, it is helping the building process, but a lot of it is also building entirely new things, and things that are completely fresh in their nature. I was trying to look for a good word, but that's the best one. But their nature is completely different, and the way these things will serve our planet is going to, most likely it will surprise us, most likely it will bring some data into our consciousness that again is going to help us evolve. But I also find that some of these things, for certain people, some of these things will require a different time to process. For some of us, they will come faster. So for example, those of us who have been doing a lot of ascension work, those of us who have been working a lot in our higher multidimensional consciousness, those of us are going to adapt to this quickly. Those of us are going to be taking in this energy and this new light very effortlessly. And those of us who have done the work, of course, we can then anchor in even higher light. But then we also have to really remember that there are still a lot of beings out there that have no freaking clue, okay? They have not done a lot of this, and they are not so familiar with it, and they're still kind of getting used to the fact that their life is very much 4D, if that makes sense, because a lot of our human consciousness is actually closer to 4th to 5th dimensional consciousness. And so a lot of beings might still be sort of clinging to that which has already passed. And some of these beings might be still kind of stabilizing themselves, if that makes sense, in the sort of integration period. And integration is important no matter where you are, so definitely keep that in mind and remind people around you, no matter what their path is to, integrate and kind of give themselves some time to let those energetic shifts settle. Whatever words they may use, like it can be something as simple as like moving. When you're moving houses, you're coming into a new energetic field of that space, and you're sort of leaving the old energy of the old place. So then you're kind of stabilizing yourself in that new energy of the house or the flat or whatever, the area. And even, the surrounding area of your house. Like you're stabilizing yourself in this new location, unless of course it's in the same area, then that's a different thing. But you're stabilizing yourself in a new neighborhood, most of the time. And you're integrating that. Like you're integrating this new place within your own energetic system. And I find that, this just came to my mind because I was talking to somebody who had just moved, as a very good example, because I've also been through that process myself. I remember I needed so many naps when I had first moved here, and then I was still so fucking keen on working so hard. Why my move was a little bit weird is because, like my own move a couple of years ago, where it was a bit weird was because I had left such a traumatic situation, and then, I feel like I would have maybe benefited from a little bit more, therapy and stuff like that, but then it was like really hard to, get that kind of support at that point. But it was kind of a little bit harder for me to integrate all of the shifts that I was going through because yeah, I had to clear and heal a lot, and that was maybe not, again, it's a process that I could have done a little bit better, but there were reasons as to why I was feeling kind of distressed and why that stabilization was not that effortless at that time and space. But this new place, this new home, has in fact brought things about myself that I didn't really know I could reach. So in that sense, that stabilization and integration has been very helpful. And going from here, of course, yeah, I am aware that this place is not going to be my place forever, but for the time it is, I will make the best out of it. I will have fun with it, and I will make sure that this is still, regardless, a temple of my heart. This is a temple of my beingness, who I am in this moment in time, and a temple of what is yet to come. So I want to make sure that I'm creating beautiful things from here. And that's a little bit of a ramble about that, but like I said, these shifts happen within us. Also, we are a part of the ascension. We are a part of the dimensional shift in consciousness. We are a part of the vibrational shift in consciousness. And just like the planet Earth is going through these shifts, so are we. Just like the universe, the entire universe, our solar system is going through these shifts in consciousness, so are we. But that's kind of the very basic levels of understanding of how that dimensional shift really works, how that comes to play in our sort of human consciousness. Yeah, what it may look like, energetically speaking. So thank you for listening, and I will be back very soon. Stay cute, stay awesome, stay inspiring, stay adorable. Okay.